Hi guys and welcome to Trustzone.com. This is Mohit Soni. What you're looking at is one of the very budget-oriented compact SUVs in the whole segment. This is the Renault Kiger, reminding of the good old days where the pricing started from 6 lakh rupees and ended at 12 lakh rupees. That is the exact same price for the Renault Kiger, and it is a proper compact SUV with a good stance and good ground clearance, and it tends to end up being exactly a 4-meter SUV, but nowadays rival the sub 4-meter SUVs with its positioning and pricing. So that is something tells you a lot about. It goes against the likes of the Tata Punch, the Maruti Ignis, and all of this just make sure that you get a budget compact SUV, and that is what the Renault Kiger is here to do. Of course, it does a lot of things well and certain things not that great. But as always, let me explain you, and let's start with the design. It's got a very nice front end. It's wide, it's big, it's got a very modern butch SUV stance. It's not a very age-old SUV design, at least. It's a modern design. It's not very flat. It's still got those curves and lines. And of course, also because it's French, you've got these 3 odd LED lights below. You've got the LED DRL, and you've got a very nice scooped out bonnet. On the side, you can see that is how the side profile is like. You've got 16 to 17 inch wheels with the red logo. This is the turbo variant. As you can see, the turbo is visible. At the back, you've got a very typical, not so typical design. While of course the bumper is very typical, the rear profile isn't. It's something that is coming in your face. The sheet metal is pumped up towards the face here, and you've got these unique, almost C-shaped lights. The turbo badging, the CVT badging, the badge, the Kiger badging, and of course the sort of Fox kit plate design that you get here. Since we are at the back, let me tell you that it is comes with a reversing sensor and a camera, and that is the big boot. Despite it has a humongous loading uploading bay, it has enough space to keep a lot of stuff, and it is borderline carnivorous in terms of what it offers in terms of space. And that is the fuel cap right there. Let's go at the back and see that you have enough leg room, more than enough knee room. You've got your AC vents here, you've got your charging point here, and this is me sitting by my own driving position. 5'11", seems to work just fine. Pockets here and here. Door pad is big enough. You've got some space to keep some stuff there also. You've got an armrest with cup can holders and a specific mobile holder here as well. Adjustable headrest is great. On this car, we still don't see a 3-pointed seat belt. This is still a lap belt. Even in 24, Kiger isn't offering that, Renault isn't offering that, but it's a 4-star NCAP rated car already with 4 airbags at standard, so which is impressive. Got simple vents, but at least it has vents. Certain cars don't even have that, and it's very good to see. The quality is just about okay. Fit finish is also okay. It's just that the build quality feels a little bit flimsy because there is a lot of rattle. The sheet metal is not that doesn't feel that solid, and doesn't have power seats or ventilated seats of any sort. It doesn't even have a height adjustable belt. What it has is start stop, cruise control, USB. You've got your AC here, which is a normal unit. You've got wireless charger. You've got your drive modes, which is brilliant, and you've got the light here for the wireless charger, which is quite impressive, and very Nexon like. But here is how the space stacks up in terms of under armrest storage. That is a huge glove box. No illumination or cooling, of course. There is a separate glove box, which, as you can see, is a little bit flimsy, but not that bad, I would say. You've got your music controls right here. You've got your voice controls here, and you've got this very impressive instrument cluster, which can change its lights and the way it looks and the way it shows information, which is quite impressive. And as you can see, we've put in 350 kilometers on it till now, and that is some space to keep some stuff yet again. Wireless charger, as I told you. And like I said, this interior feels just about okay. It's the build quality that is the problem. Fit finish is also good. Quality is also acceptable for this price. And one of the reasons why the Kiger does really well is because the price to quality ratio and the value aspect, when you step inside the cabin and spend more time with it, like how we've spent almost 2 weeks with it, makes us realize that, you know, not that bad for this price. And that is exactly what you're getting here. Of course, let's talk about the screen, which is one of the most simplest screens you can find in the industry. And you've got your settings, vehicle settings, your drive info, your driving eco status. It shows how you're driving. As you can see, colors, graphics, fonts, layout is just about okay. And the audio system is also good enough for this price point, and the AC also works really well. This is the lock unlock button. The traction control button is here, and that is the rear defogger. Apart from that, this is how you shuffle between these buttons here. You've got your automatic climate control here, and you've got a front defogger as well. So this is quite impressive to operate. And yeah, you've got a steering wheel which looks quite nice, very nice to hold. The leather also feels really impressive. Of course, the steering is just for rake, not reach. It's very easy to do so as well. Yeah, that's the instrument cluster, which adds some more pizzazz to the car and the driving experience. The coolant is slightly low in this car, and that is why it's above the usual half ratio, and something that we will try and get it fixed. Yeah, that's it. The fabric quality also feels nice. The color also feels quite good. The seats are quite good enough in terms of support for a bigger guy like me as well. You will see me driving, so you'll know that these seats are quite good enough for my size also. And yeah, that's it. That's what the Renault Kiger cabin is all about. In terms of infotainment system, you get wired Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and yeah, something that works quite well as well. That's it. Let's start driving the 1-liter turbo petrol with a CVT gearbox. So guys, we are out driving the Renault Kiger with a turbo petrol engine and a CVT gearbox. This combination, as we know, is quite rare, and it's only visible in the Nissan Magnite and the cousin Renault Kiger here. And what is this engine all about? Well, this combination is surprisingly one of the best combinations in the country, because you get a fantastic city driving experience that you don't see anywhere else. This is a 100 PS motor making 160 Nm of torque, and it is something that is seamless, smooth, and in terms of powertrain, you know, it is very smooth. It's just that the vibrations kick in from time to time at higher revs and somewhere between, but that's about it. You feel the vibrations a bit more because the build quality of the car is all slightly on the lower side, in fact quite lower than we expected it to be, and hence the vibrations and the lack of damping basically escalates that aspect, and you know, amplifies it in the cabin as well. So what really you know, ends up happening is that you feel that you're in a budget car, and that is something could have been worked on. But at the same time, when it is a budget car, it is truly a budget car. We know the pricing is actually quite good on the Renault Kiger. So apart from the refinement, which is not that great, the drivability in the city on the highway is very, very good. Most importantly, Renault has a upside or advantage to this powertrain over its Nissan cousin, rival and cousin both, is the fact that these drive modes make a world of a difference. The eco mode is very linear, very tamed, and you know, it just doesn't peak out anywhere. There is no lag or hesitation or of any sort. It is just, you know, like dead on the inside but alive on the outside sort of situation, where this is super you know, linear, and you can just keep on driving like this for a very long time. Only when you realize that you have to, you know, make an overtaking move, it doesn't really respond as quickly as it should, and that is the reason why you will have to shift into normal or sport mode, and that is where this car again makes a lot of sense. Now I am in eco mode. Let me just get into sport mode, and immediately it's like you get the whole 100 PS and 160 Nm, and that is where it makes a lot of sense. These driving modes actually are quite good. The normal mode as well is something that you will appreciate, because it will give you a bit of torque and power. It will give you the ease of use as well. But the eco and sport mode is something that I've been shuffling through, and I find that this is the right way to drive this car. In eco mode, the refinement levels also become a little bit better, and that is why this car is livable when it comes to everyday driving. Apart from that, there is something even better. The suspension is actually quite good. The ride quality is great. It takes bad roads quite well. There is enough ground clearance on offer. And all of this makes it very easy to drive in the city on sort of slightly broken roads, or if you have a lot of potholes in your city, it will navigate through all of that quite well. It's got a healthy dose of ground clearance, and the ride quality is just right, and all of this again keeps things easier along with the engine. What again in the handling part is not impressive is that the car feels too light on its feet. It is absolutely one of the lightest cars in the segment, and it exactly feels like that. While Renault has tried very hard to do so, they're not really cracked it here. But like I said, everything is livable just about okay. And when you get an SUV of this size, of this engine with the CVT gearbox, under 11 just around 13 to 13 and a half lakh rupees, you can't really complain, because most of the job is quite well done. As you can see, taking a U-turn is also very easy. The feel and feedback from the steering is good enough. The U-turn ratio also is quite short, and overall this is something that you can live with on a daily basis, because the driving position is nice and high, and at the same time you realize that the view from behind isn't the absolute best. It's as good as possible, because when I showed you the design, I told you that it's quite raked up and it's not a very flat design, and that is the reason why there is a bit of compromise. Let's say a good 30% compromise in rear visibility, because the glass is small. While you can see everything from here, from the IRVM here, the glass over there, the windshield, rear windshield, is on the smaller side, and that is something is part of the design. You can't really help or do anything about it. The mirrors on both sides are good enough, and that's what I have seen while driving. The CVT works really well. The turbo petrol works really well. What is also not that impressive in the Kiger is the fact that the mileage is on the lower side. What we've been getting is somewhere between 11 to 13 in the city, but on the highway it does redeem itself with almost 16 to say 17 kilometers per liter, and I think that is a very good number to have. Overall, the Renault Kiger, if suddenly Renault one day decides to do a premium car, it can use the same platform, add a bit more things, ask for a bit more money, and this car will just become an absolute delight. And that is one of the reasons why we've always recommended either the Magnite or the Kiger, because fundamentally it is a very good car. It is just a budget car, and it's a budget car that is made right, and that is the reason why it sells really well. To a certain extent, of course, because everything else in the segment is very premium now. It ends up comparing with a car of its segment below, the Tata Punch and the Maruti Ignis and all of that. There's a reason for it, and that's where the Kiger and the Magnite both score quite high, is because they do feel a bit extra over them, and that is why there are a lot of takers for this car. We see the sales numbers, and we just hope that Renault one day decides to go premium, because it has the potential to do so. But I guess it is now at a point where it is giving you a lot for your money, and that is really important in our country for car buyers. And we are really happy that this car exists. There is something as simple as this and as good as this to drive, with a fantastic turbo petrol and CVT gearbox for sure. We'll try and drive the AMT petrol as well for you, which is a 1 liter of a naturally aspirated motor. Until then, see you next time in the next video. If you subscribe, you will get to know about that video whenever it comes. Like, share and subscribe. Please still have some questions, put them in the comment section below. Until then, goodbye.